That's 2 to the 2 to the 2 times 2 to the 2 to the 2 times 2 to the 2 to the 2, and Dan's going to sort it out with the BLM, the Bureau of Lands Management, or the Buildings Lands Management, or Buildings and Land Management. I don't know. How are you doing, General Lee? Did they give you your horse and your farm back? I hope so. Your farm is well fertilized now, isn't it? I heard. Good morning. Hello. 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 She came out. Yeah. Yes. I could never be a comedian because when I manage to make a joke, I laugh about it for half an hour. That's the end of the show. I was coming down here. I came down here this morning trying to find a patch of sunlight to stand in for a bit because it was so cold. And it would have been awful if I'd rocked up in Washington, D.C. in September, wouldn't it? 2020. I thought we could do that. I mean, I didn't think that was an unreasonable expectation, but fucking hell. I still don't get this Wi-Fi life. I think I've probably got the key to this car on my desk. I didn't think we were at that level of fluidity in the driving license system that Bolivia has. It was a black bird on the corner of this roof here, and I came along. I said, "Bark, bark, hello," and I said, "Oh no, you're a pigeon. I'm sorry. I'm terribly sorry." And the pigeon just. It was a very black pigeon though, really good-looking bird. And which reminds me of another poly girlfriend of mine whose husband is a pigeon fancier. I often thought about poly gearing, and especially in Cochabamba. Oh, those pigeons are just nuts, and it's because of the genocide. Ask that disgusting fucking Robert Edinger about it. He put on a bit of street theatre when they were culling the pigeons. God, that bloke is just too much. He was the reason I stayed away from America for so long. I mean, man, what a fucking ambassador, that cunt. God help everyone. He's like James Jesus Angleton on acid. The fucker put crystal meth in my fucking coffee one day, and I had the most awful night I've ever had in my life. Half wanting to puke, and with a deep paranoid sleeplessness and an inability to think. Shit, I would not like to be hooked on crystal meth. How the fuck can you get hooked on something like that? So look at all these iron crosses out here. This place is covered in iron crosses. Crosses are pretty interesting. For me, I'm if their arms don't turn up at the end, they're not green and covered in thorns, I ain't interested. It's that little symmetrical, it's basically a plus sign with swollen limbs. This is the school, this is the back door to the girls' school, which is very severely locked. The only thing that comes in here is food. I gave my CV to the headmistress and then went round the front. At the front they don't have... Is that Jesus and Mary up there? At the front they have just Mary in the garden, and she's lovely. She's so sweet. And I went round to see if they'd processed my application. I just took my purple folder and just collected some flowers and holly berries and things, and put my CV and my letter of reference from Cambridge and some various bits of paper that people had given me, and handed it to her. And then I went back and they said, well, wait till... I said I wanted to do a project with the girls so that we could do a Bayer tapestry, and I thought it might be better to start the Bayer tapestry before the war ended. To start the Bayer tapestry before the war ended, so that there was less chance of getting it wrong. But I don't know if there was anything wrong with the Bayer tapestry as it was done. And this is how far that project got. This was going to be the back cloth for it, but it stinks. That has to be washed. But I thought that would make a nice back cloth, and then I was collecting just bits of scrap cloth, and I've got a sewing machine upstairs, and I thought we could get the sewing machine fixed, and Dan and this Chinese girl at the school who's learning English as well. It's a kind of English teaching school, and I thought Dan and her and maybe Anna Bogan and maybe Elizabeth Murray might help. And I was going to stay out of it because I don't know, my reputation as a paedophile is pretty strong, it seems to me. Certainly felt like that when I went round to the school, and the secretary said, yes, the headmistress has your application, and you need to wait for her to respond. So there we go. There's nothing quite like your ex-wife publicly suggesting that you would fuck your daughter in your room for your self-esteem as a dad. But the family court in Cambridge sorted all that out for us. And then I lost my divorce certificate somehow in Bolivia. And you have to have your divorce certificate if you want to marry again in Bolivia. It got flooded. It was on the floor of Rosa Maria's place. When I did a runner that night, they were going to crucify me on an iron scaffold outside. I don't know what it was. But I ran. And I left my Rhodesian birth certificate, the original copy, and my certificate of naturalization and my degree certificates, both, and my divorce papers, decree nice iron, decree absolute, and my passport, my South African passport. I left it all in a box, and I thought somebody at Rosa Maria's place is going to have the sense to look after that, because I was sleeping in a kind of back storeroom that they had. And she said no, that they just left it there and it got flooded, and that the box was full of mud and that everything was ruined. So I didn't even bother going around to look and try and rescue anything. But it's a problem now, because the South African government is saying that they say if I'm a South African national, I have to travel on a South African passport to South Africa. Otherwise, it's actually I'm breaking the law, and that's the rule for dual citizenship holders, that you must travel into and out of South Africa on your South African passport. But to maintain South African nationality, you apparently have to have a passport all the time. You cannot be outside the country without a passport. And I don't know, is that the case for all countries? Because I was in Bolivia, I was trying to apply for there's a rule in Bolivia that if you've lived there for a certain number of years, you automatically get nationality. And I was way past that. I was way past it. And whatever I did, I couldn't get it through. And nobody, whenever there was an amnesty on the fine, because the big problem was the fine, that they charged something like $20 a day. And I was 4 or 5 years overdue, so the fine was like $2,000 or $3,000. And then they had amnesties every now and then, but every time there was an amnesty, I never got to hear about it until either the day before or afterwards. Fucking hell. And then just after the fucking coup, some fucking State Department bastard comes and parks his car right outside where I sleep and starts walking around in front of me and talking loudly. I didn't listen to what. What a shit. So there we go. That's my report. Sir, I hope you like your horse and your farm, and I hope you're happy. And will remain happy. And I hope that's good compost.